Hey, hi, hello, sunshines. It's Rebecca Marie, and welcome to the Align and Sunshine Club. I'm 23, on a mission to show up as my authentic self always, and I'm also a certified yapper. So I decided the perfect place to share my learnings and the things that I'm working on would be a podcast. So once again, welcome to the club. Let's navigate this beautiful life together. We're about to start today's episode, so prepare to feel like sunshine. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to the Align and Sunshine Club. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm loving this new format that we've got going, and today I'm coming to you from Venice Beach in Los Angeles. And no, it's not a green screen. Over here behind me, we have the Venice shops. We've got these palm trees, which is where the skate parks are. And then over there is the Venice Pier. And I personally am out looking over the whole beautiful beach. And I can see the Santa Monica Pier off in the distance. And it's just a beautiful blue day. There's hardly any clouds in the sky. And it's just a great place to film a podcast. So that's where we are. I've welcomed you back. I'm very grateful you're here. Welcome back to the club. I'm going to be honest right now and let you know that this is like the 9th time I've tried to film this podcast. I get like 3 or 4 minutes in and then I overthink it and I stop filming, and I'm not doing that this time. I'm just going to absolutely go for it because I have value, and the more I do it, the worse it's going to get, right? Like, I'm overthinking it. It doesn't need to be scripted. We're just going to chat to you from my heart. So I'm being honest, I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm going to get right into this right now. So today, you've probably read the title of the episode, but we're talking all about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. We're going to talk about getting uncomfy so you can get more comfy. This is one of my favorite concepts at the moment, and I'm absolutely living by it. And I think it's such an important thing to talk about because it's such an easy thing to implement. As soon as you choose you want to do this, you can start today. You can start immediately right now, and you can see the positive changes and the growth right away. So I really want to talk about it. I also think it's a really big part of why I've been able to do this travel overseas. I've had so many messages from you guys being like, oh my God, how did you move by yourself? How did you get a one-way ticket? I could never do that. And honestly, guys, 2 years ago or even a year ago, I probably couldn't have done it either. It all takes time to put yourself in these situations and to grow and to be ready, but you can speed up that process and get yourself more comfortable with uncomfortable tasks, right? So 2 years ago, I would have looked at this. Like, if you told me I was going to buy a one-way ticket overseas, I would have been like, nah, not me. Not me. And now I couldn't think of anything else that I would rather be doing, right? And so I want to help you speed up that process of getting comfortable with these situations that make you go, no, absolutely not. That could never be me. And I want you to get into those situations with less nerves. So let's talk more about the concept. So we're getting uncomfortable so we can get more comfortable. And I think this really stems from how I look at it is the universe is going to put you through experiences in your life no matter what. This can be going on a date. It can be an internship. It can be literally trying a new sport. It could be anything that makes you feel a little uncomfortable, makes you feel a little bit nervous. And there's 2 options, right? When you feel uncomfortable in these situations, you can either do it and jump into that discomfort, knowing that you're going to get a return from it, right? You go on a date, you might meet the love of your life. You go to an internship, you find your amazing job. Or you just learn something there. Or you try a new sport and you end up meeting your best friends there and it's now your favorite thing and you make the sport your career, right? So you can jump into it. You can jump feet first into this uncomfortable situation and try and get the growth out of it. Or you can run away in fear from this uncomfortable situation, and if you do that, you don't get any benefits. You just run away and that's it. It's like it never existed. Your life continues to go on without the date, without the new sport, without the internship, without any uncomfortable situation. And so life is going to throw these situations at you anyways. But I have found that if you actively seek out these situations and you actively put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you will get more comfortable. Because now you'll look at these situations like a first date. So if you actively go and put yourself in first dates, you actively go and seek out dates, you are going to go and become an expert. You're going to get less nervous. You are just going to be like, oh, it's another date. It's not like oh my God, it's such an uncomfortable situation, I have to go on a date. And so I found that if you seek out these situations, you can get better at them and you can have that learning quicker instead of the universe just throwing it at you in the natural course of timeline. I don't know if that makes sense. In the Instead of life just happening to you, you happen to life, essentially. So if you go on these dates, you'll get less scared, you know what to expect, you have good lines, you're like ready to go. If you go to your internship the first day, you are terrified, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna go every day. Or you actively seek out, you wanna go and like work with someone, you're like, oh, can I work with you? Like, can I shadow you for the day? Terrifying. What a terrifying thing to do. How uncomfortable is that? You've never been in this industry before, you don't know what you're doing, but you do it. And then you get more comfortable. Like, it's like if you actively go and seek out these things that make you uncomfortable, after you've completed it, you will have grown. So that's kind of like what I'm getting at, right? And this can be super intimidating to start. It's like, I don't expect you to buy a one-way ticket tomorrow and like fly away from your country immediately. If you want to, freaking do it. Like, skip a few levels, absolutely go for it. But I'm talking about baby steps. I'm talking about riding a bike. Like, we want to start you off easy. When I started, I would walk down the street and I would challenge myself to say hi to every single person on the way to my appointment on the street. This is scary. This was so intimidating. Some people look at you like, I don't talk to strangers on the street. And some people are like really excited to say hey. And it's things like that, right? So I'm not saying you have to buy a one-way ticket tomorrow. We're going to talk about how you can ease into this. So you could start with saying hi to people on the street. You could start with literally going to the movies by yourself. You could start with going to a class by yourself. It all depends with where your confidence is at right now and what is the most uncomfortable to you. If you have said no to a new sport because it makes you uncomfortable, that's a sign that it's something that you should go and do because you'd be more confident afterwards and you'd be more comfortable afterwards. So you can start wherever you want on the scale, but I'm going to list off a few things that I did to start so that you can use these as inspiration for maybe where you want to kickstart your journey. So I think I talked about this previously in another episode, but I used to have this thing called like the fear tracker, and every single week I had to challenge myself to do one new thing that scared me. And that's kind of the same thing, right? It's like you're scared, you're uncomfortable. And so that's a really good way to start. It's like hold yourself accountable every single week, do one thing. You can ask someone for their number. You could ask somebody to get coffee. You could sign up for a new class. You could compliment a stranger. You could wear an outfit that you would usually feel uncomfortable in. You could wear something kind of crazy to the supermarket. You could dance in public. You could cross the road dancing. You could ask a random person to dance with you. There are so many things you can do. You could yell in a public place. You could smile at every single person you see. You could try and have a conversation with your bus driver. You could talk to the person sitting next to you on the bus. There are so many things, right? And you start out small. There's any of these things, if they appeal to you, you're like, oh, I probably wouldn't do that because that is a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. If you do it, I promise you the growth that you get from that, you're either going to feel great or the next day you're going to have grown from it, right? You know it's not that deep. If you do something like this, you learn that like people want to chat, people want to dance, you brought someone joy, or they don't reply, and you grow from it because you're going to survive, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying start with a little small thing that brings you discomfort. And after you've done it, you'll realize that you survived to tell the tale and that you can do more things like this because life does go on. So yeah, that's where I think you should start out. I think that's great. After this, so my main things that I started with were like complimenting random people, talking to random people. If I see somebody on the street and I like their outfit and I keep walking, I make myself go back and compliment them because I'm like, yes, it's a little bit uncomfy, but it's going to bring them so much joy. So that's one that I started to implement. I asked some guy for his number one time. It didn't go anywhere because COVID happened, but you know. And what else did I do? Oh, I would dance along the waterfront every single time I got home from my self-defense class. Also did the self-defense class because that made me uncomfortable. Now I can say I did a self-defense class. I started ice skating in a class with 14-year-olds. I was the second oldest person there. Frances, shout out to you. We slayed those classes. She was the only other person around my age. And Liam, I hope you're still killing it. I don't know if you guys are even listening, but I love you guys. And I loved ice skating with you. Yeah, and that's where I started. One time I lay down at a pedestrian crossing, not in the middle of the road, guys, on the sidewalk. Like you press the button. And then I lay down and I got a few weird looks. Then I got back up and life went on, and those people probably can't remember it, or they think it's funny. They saw some weirdo lying down on the middle of the road. But I got to learn a lot about myself from those situations, trying new things. I got to learn new skills, and I was uncomfortable in every single one of those situations. But it's about pushing yourself into that discomfort, actively seeking discomfort so you can get more confident and ready to take on your next challenge. So that is my challenge to you, is to start out small and to start doing uncomfortable things, especially if you're one of those people who's messaged me and says, I could absolutely never move, right? Get started on your journey of discomfort and find out like how hard it would be for you to move, because I do truly believe you could do it. I know I've just lifted these off and I feel like this is quite a repetitive episode, but I just really want to drill this into your head because it took so long for me to realize that this was making such a positive impact that I want all of you guys to get these benefits straight away. But nobody is expecting you to go crazy straight away. You do not have to buy a plane ticket overseas tomorrow. You do not have to go and ask somebody out. You don't have to do any of these things. And I think that's what makes it so important. It's like completely up to you. You can choose how much you want to grow. You can choose what you want to learn, and where you want that discomfort to come from. No one's expecting you to do any of this. This is fully like, it'll bring you joy to know that you've grown, and it'll bring me joy knowing that you guys get to experience more stuff and more discomfort, which means more growth, which means more happiness, which means a better quality of life. Yeah, no one's expecting you to do crazy things tomorrow, and I think it's all a work in progress, right? Like if you can skip the stages of life throwing these things at you and you can go and experience more quicker and get those lessons quicker, you will get more out of your day to day. So I think a good way to implement this in your life, like it's easier said than done, right? Like I like that fear tracker, so you hold yourself accountable and do it every week. But I also like constantly asking yourself, does this make me uncomfortable? Like if you're like thinking about your day and you're like, oh, I could do that. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Why are you not going to do that? Are you not going to do that because it's genuinely not feasible for you? Or are you not doing it because you're backing away at the first sign of uncomfortableness? Like, is there a run club that you want to join, but you're not going to join because you might not be able to run that far? That's a little bit of discomfort there, right? Like, you're not sure how it's going to go. But the world's not going to end if you can't run the whole way, if you have to walk a little bit, if you have to be in a slower pace. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at, right? It's like whenever you're going through your day-to-day activities, if you get to that crossroad where it's like you could either jump feet first in and try a new situation, you could make a new friend, you could get a new job, you could literally just be going and doing a completely different activity that's super mundane, but you're not going to do it because you don't want to jump in foot first. What I'm saying is that when you get to that crossroads that I was mentioning before, where you can either jump in feet first or you can turn around and run at fear, I want you to jump in feet first. Whether it's a run club, whether it's an internship, whether it's a new course at uni, it's asking someone to be your friend. I want you to jump in feet first every time. Say yes, do the activity, make the friend, get the job, just get the growth out of whatever this opportunity is. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to jump in feet first. Okay, I want you to think of me and I want you to go, am I doing this because, am I not doing this because I really have a valid reason why, it's dangerous, it's unsafe, I don't have the money? Or am I not doing this because I'm uncomfortable and that uncomfortableness is too uncomfortable to handle? Okay, I want you to jump in feet first. And if that means starting at the bottom and working your way up to this bigger activity that you want to do, take the baby steps to get there. Do the little activities to get more comfortable, compliment people, go to a class with a friend, go out by yourself. Do all the steps you need to do to get to that goal, because I promise you, if it's something that you're thinking about, it will bring you joy. And I just want you guys to experience more things. So we're going to be jumping in feet first. We're going to be asking ourselves, does this make me uncomfortable? Why am I not doing this? Really question yourself on why you're not doing things that you want to do. Yeah, it's all about practice. It took me a really long time to get here. As some of you may know, I did 2 weeks in the US last year in March. And for me, that was my test run. I got to come overseas, I got to meet new people, and I got to figure out whether it's something that I enjoyed. It was terrifying, but I loved it. And now I've taken the full plunge and I've bought the one-way ticket and I'm traveling the world. And it was like the baby step to get there, right? Like I had that 2-week trip and now I can do a full year. I can do an unknown amount of time with confidence because I know it's going to be okay. I'm going to survive whatever happens throughout this. And yeah, I did it through being uncomfortable. Now that this has been my mindset for a while, I think I'm going to take you guys through a few of the things I've been doing on this trip that use the same mindset and that have given me some really cool opportunities whilst I've been away. So you can see how this really plays into a day-to-day life. It plays into all of the decisions that I make, and helps me to achieve more and things that I would have previously thought were incredibly scary. got three main examples from this trip that I'd like to talk to you about. So the first one is I met this girl called Thea in Austin. We hung out for all of 6 hours during one day. We hit it off really, really well. And she said that I'd be more than welcome to sleep on her couch in Brooklyn in New York. I had no plans to go to New York. I was excited about it. And I decided to buy a flight and go. I was so uncomfortable because I was like, maybe we just hit it off because we hung out like in the power of South by. Like, what if we're not actually going to have anything to talk about? And what if I buy this flight and then we have the most awkward like 5 or 6 days? And it really bothered me. Like, I was like, oh my God, what if I'm going to bother her? Like, all of this stuff and all of these thoughts are going through my head. But I was like, if I say no to this experience, I just walk away and it's like I never met her. It's like it never happened. But I chose to jump in feet first and I went and we had the best time. Now we're besties. She's probably going to come to Europe and hang out with me in Europe. And I just think it's about, you know, like you can have these negative thoughts in your head and you can find excuses not to do something. But sometimes the best thing to do is just jump in feet first to get that experience, to get that growth. And it was an amazing 6 days. My second example is last week. I'm in LA. I was in West Hollywood and I wanted to go out clubbing. And I was on my period. It's that time of the month. And you girlies know how it is. You get a little bloated. Your body dysmorphia hits in. You're like, I can't go out. I literally look stupid. I can't. All of the thoughts were in my head. I looked in the mirror and I was like, who is that? I'm not going. I'm not going. And I tried on all these outfits. I was messaging all my friends in LA. I was like, oh my God, what do I wear? Like, I can't go out. I have nothing to wear, which is so stupid. So stupid and such a mundane problem in scheme of things. But it made me so uncomfortable. I was like, I'm not going out. And then I had to give myself this pep talk. And I was like, once again, if I choose not to go out, it's like it never happened. I can wake up tomorrow and it's fine. I just didn't go out. Or I can jump in feet first. And I know that in a week, when I look at these photos of my outfit and I'm not on my period and I don't have period brain, I will think I looked beautiful. I have never been younger and funner and hotter than I am right now. And I will regret in a year not going out clubbing. I will not regret wearing that outfit and going and having a fun time. And so this one's a slightly different situation, right? It's like I was playing mind games in my head, but I knew the best thing to do was go out uncomfortable and not feel as confident as usual, but know that in about a week, it literally only took me a day to realize that I looked absolutely fabulous. But you just got to remember that like life is too short to not just jump in foot first. So that's example 2. And example 3 is the one that I am the most proud of, but it's that I've been sober on this trip. I haven't been completely sober. I've had a few drinks, but let me explain. So a lot of people, we're going to do a full episode on this in the future, but a lot of people will use alcohol as a crutch, and that is totally fair because it can make you feel more comfortable. So you can be like out in a club, you don't know anyone, or you're at a networking event, and the easiest thing to do can be, oh, should we go to the bar? Let's go to the bar and get a drink in our system, and we'll be loosened up. And that is totally valid, and it does work. But my challenge to myself was that when I came over here, I wanted to be sober going into all of these situations. So then making decisions like with my uncomfortable brain. I'm uncomfortable in this situation. I don't know anyone. And I'm dead sober. I'm completely sober. And so I would only allow myself to have a drink once I had walked around the club, I'd made some friends, I'd introduced myself to people, I'd found the people I was going to spend my evening with. Once I've met them, it's more than okay to have a beverage. I would have like one shot. But the thing is, I learned that I don't need that alcohol, right? And like, this one was scary. This one made me so incredibly uncomfortable, and I love this challenge because I feel so much more confident in myself, my abilities, and my presence now. So yeah, it's about like pushing myself into that situation. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know anyone. I chose to jump in feet first, go sober, introduce myself to people. I literally got 2 guys' Instagrams. 2 of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. I went up to them and I got their Instagrams completely sober. If you asked me like a year ago if I could do that, I probably would have done it on a dare. I probably would have done it if I had some alcohol in my system. But now I'm just doing it. You just jump in foot first. You get to meet new people. You get to have a good night. And then if I wanted to have a drink after I've met people, I allow myself to do that because now it's no longer I'm using the alcohol as a crutch. I'm using it as something to like add an extra element to my evening. So I'm really, really proud of that one. I will do a full episode on that in the future because I think that this whole concept is really, really cool. But yeah, those are 3 things that I have done whilst I've been on this trip to keep pushing my comfort zones and to keep stepping out of that box and to keep getting that growth quicker, right? Like I learned so much from all 3 of those situations. And yeah, this is just evidence that if you ask yourself the question, like, am I really uncomfortable? Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not embracing this opportunity? Why am I saying no instead of saying yes? You can unpack a lot about yourself. You can learn a lot really quickly, and you can have an amazing experience afterwards, whether it's that new skill, the new friend, the night out, whatever it is, can come from asking yourself these questions. So yeah, this is the whole episode. I hope that this has brought you guys some joy. I hope it has brought you some food for thought, and you're going to try and channel this. I would love to know what you think you're going to do to make yourself more uncomfortable so you can get comfortable with being uncomfortable and become more comfortable just on a day-to-day basis. It'll increase your confidence. It'll increase your ability to go and do things by yourself or in groups, or it can help you in whatever aspect of life that you want it to help you, right? Yeah, oh my God, I'm so grateful I just got to go on a spiel about this because I'm really, really passionate about it. But I just want you guys to keep asking yourself, what can you do to make yourself uncomfortable, to grow from it, and to just experience more life, right? Like push your boundaries, and then life will deliver more to you. You'll be able to go traveling on your own. You could probably do it right now. I'm telling you, you could probably do it right now, but if you want the baby steps, this is the way to do it. This is my guide. I feel like I've covered everything. I'm literally just going to check my notes. Guys, I had notes in my pocket the whole time. That's it. We've covered it all. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know when I'll be back with the next episode, but I would love your feedback on how these are going. I'd love if there's anything you'd specifically like for me to talk to you about. Or any locations that you'd like me to film in. I'm liking this one, but I do actually fly to England tomorrow, so I've got to say goodbye to the US for a little bit. You know, I'm very sad. But thank you for watching. I'm so grateful for you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye! Thanks so much for listening to me yap. I'm so grateful to have had you here. Make sure to check out our socials at Align and Sunshine Club, or for more regular posting, mine at It's Rebecca Marie. See you soon for another episode. Love, hugs, and sunshine from Beck.